Sometimes people ask me, Annette, where did you get the passion for sustainability? Where did you learn it? Perhaps it came to some degree from the family I came from. My parents were Dutch immigrant farmers. And when I was a little girl, I was 10 years old, my father had a heart attack. And he wanted to find ways to reduce the labor in the farm because the four of us at the time, really were the labor. And he was the first farmer to go into liquid manure in the dairy farm. That was in 1966. The government wouldn't lend him any money because no one had proven that this would work. But that move allowed him to expand the farm, live for another 18 years to see his kids grow up, and really improve the productivity. Didn't have to buy the amount of fertilizer or equipment that you'd normally use when you did not use the manure from your cattle. So it started at a very young age. And all of my life, I always understood that profitability and sustainability really went hand in hand. When I joined Home Depot back in 1996, there was a lot of unrest in the forestry industry. There were a lot of people rebelling against the forest management practices. And as Suri said, the carbon of our forest was extraordinarily important. And there were a lot of protesting at the time. I don't know if you recall, but Canada was hit as well, and we had the brave First Nations people, stopping traffic in our store. But I'll tell you, it was a very good reason. We were buying lumber. The retail industry was buying lumber from badly forest-managed lands. And I became the chair of the Environmental Council of Home Depot. And we changed that dramatically. We used the purchasing power of our company to say, look, we'll work with you lumber producers if you can reduce and improve the forest management practices. We wanted the forests to become more protected and greater stewards. And last year I received the recognition from the World Wildlife Foundation for that effort. And, you know, it comes natural, these things. And doing this really also improved the performance of our company. And yes, was it a little bit difficult at the end of the day to change and divert your supply chain? Yes, but at the end of the day, the consumers recognize the importance of doing good. And that's critically important. There's great stories, but I have always looked at all the businesses I've ever been in from a sustainable perspective. Habitat for Humanity is an organization that I was involved with for years, and so I was in my second year at the Home Depot, and I went into the back room, and one of the young Home Depot associates was throwing a cabinet in the compactor, and he said, Annette, why are we throwing this product away when it can be used by others? And at the time, Habitat for Humanity was building a restore program, and we worked with them to divert all the stuff that we were putting into the landfill site into these restores to be purchased by people that had lower incomes, that contributed to the houses. That has financed I think there are 61 restores in Canada today, and that financed an enormous amount of the bills that Habitat bills. It's such a wonderful story because it saves Home Depot costs and it builds home for those that really need it. But there are so many examples. When I also saw that Canadian consumers really were aware and concerned about rising energy, greenhouse gases. And we worked with every utility across the country. And whether it was take your old string of Christmas lights in, old incandescents, and we'll replace them with LED lights, or when the case of water conservation, and we sold the most low-flow toilets in all of Canada. And I'll tell you, that made a big difference in these communities. It made a big difference to the municipalities. It made a big difference in terms of conserving that precious commodity that we take for granted too much. But look, I saw it every day. And so when I retired from Home Depot, I went around the world with my husband Stan, and we went to 16 countries, a lot of them developing countries. And it was very clear that there were three things that really need to be addressed, really need solutions. One is food, one is water, and one is energy. And so wanted to do something in that area, and also recognized the critical importance of managing greenhouse gases. I don't know how many of you know that we just in the last 2 weeks, 400 parts per million CO2. We've passed that number, which is quite frightening. And we are way over extracting these resources and not replacing them. And things are getting worse. Our goal in Canada is to reduce emissions 17% below the 2005 level by 2020. Government projections currently show that we will likely miss that goal by a wide margin. Improving grid efficiency and enabling more clean energy will lead to fossil fuel consumption falling significantly. In this province, we have more than enough generation capacity, and it's imperative that we use the resources that we currently have to our disposal more effectively. That's from conservation to using the energy that we have more effectively. It's more sustainable to conserve the energy that we already produce through efficiency than to generate more electricity. So, energy storage is the startup that David Patterson and I decided that we would go after. The amount of intermittent energy out there is increasing regularly, and when the winds blow, they blow more at night. And when the wind is needed, it's needed during the day in most cases. And so trying to capture that intermittent energy, hold it until it's needed, will really improve the productivity of all the renewable resources that we have, that we're producing in our province. So we started in our Store Inc., and what we're doing is accelerating the commercialization of energy storage. So we're basically the intermediary between the technology and the market, creating the market. So we're partnering with flexible and clean technologies that can solve many different grid-related issues. One of the companies that we're working with is Temporal Power. It's a great Canadian company. They produce a flywheel. And part of the challenges for the grid is that, when the energy comes, it's hard to stabilize, it's hard to regulate. And this flywheel is like a kinetic battery, and it holds in that energy and then releases it. So if there is a big gust of wind, it can take that energy in, hold it for a period of time, and then release it on the grid, helping to manage the energy out there. It's a fast response, and it focuses on frequency regulation. And you know what? Within 6 months, we did our first contract. We did a 2 megawatt regulation energy project with the IESO, the independent operator here in Ontario. And it was very exciting because it's the first commercial deal done with the flywheel technology in Canada. And we're very proud of it. Another technology that we're associated with is general compression. And this is a great little company that's not so little, it's quite a big company. But it basically takes compressed air and basically puts it in a cavern and then releases it. It's a near isothermal, so it doesn't use any fossil fuels, and it's developed in Boston, Massachusetts, but it's for large-scale, long duration, 40 hours a week, bulk energy storage. So this energy storage does both generate and loads. So it takes the energy in and releases it. And that's the interesting and wonderful thing about energy storage. It does both, where generation only does it one way. So the value of energy storage is reflected in its ability to do different things on the grid. We're working on a 1,000 megawatt project today. Look, and the reason that this is so exciting for me is that all of my life I've, worked in companies, worked in crown corporations. I started when I was 20 years old. But this is something that I'm really passionate about. I left Home Depot, I said, there's one big one left in me. And this is the big one. It really is. This is something that we can do that really makes a difference to encourage and create greater value in the renewable resources that we're putting out today. Some see the need to take action to promote corporate sustainability as an inconvenient truth. I see it as a convenient opportunity for Canadian-led innovation. We have to go there, we really do. Thank you.